as a volunteer. No one's doing this.
We're the United States of America. Unity and oneness is what we're made of. One nation under God, it's plain to see. We're showing the whole world what a country should be. United we stand in America, hand in hand in America. Together as one in a land that we love. United we stand in America.
Good morning, everyone out there. Welcome to Changing Times. It is Wednesday, May the 7th. This is show number 205. Dennis, can you believe that we've almost made it 4 complete years? I tell you what, God has blessed us. We are live at the Acts Media Group headquarters in Springfield, Missouri. I apologize. My throat's giving up a little bit. My nose is a little bit stopped up. We have a beautiful day in Springfield. We had a little rain last night, but we have allergies. Lots of people have allergies right now. And so we're going to try to get through this. We have a great show today. I'm Lynn Morris, and my co-host, Dr. Mary Byrne, is still not here. We have 2 weeks left in the session up in Jefferson City. I know what it's like. I served there 8 years as a state rep, and I know right now they're probably going to work 5 days this week, not 4, Monday through Thursday. They'll probably have to work on Friday. Next week's the last week, and at 5 o'clock on the last day when the clock rings, it's done. And if the bill is not voted on, it's not passed. And so things get real hectic. Lots of amendments try to get on. But Mary Byrne, Dr. Mary Byrne is the executive director of the Joint Committee on Education for the Missouri Senate. And so she got a new job about 4 weeks ago. So she hadn't been able to be with us. She lives in Springfield. She'll be back. And but she specializes in education and disability children, disabled children, and things like that, special education. She's just a tremendous expert on the field of education. And so that's why she got this state job. But she's going to come back here and be on our show. But now, Diana, you're put up with me then, okay?
Sounds good.
All right. So today our guest is Diana Flannigan. Diana Flannigan. And you used to be, you did, because you worked, 3.5 years?
I've been at Crossline's Community Outreach for 3.5 years.
Yeah, okay. Well, so it used to be called Springfield Area Council of Churches. And it's been that way since 1969. And actually, I grew up in Springfield. And then in 1977, I moved down to Christian County to open up my first of 26 family pharmacies. And so I know a lot about Springfield area. I grew up there, went to school there. And Dr. Dorsey, Reverend Dr. Dorsey Level, was the founder, and he's kind of like our founder, famous people, very important people to get these things started. And then over time, you all talked about changing your name, and now finally you became Crosslines Community Outreach. And so you kind of just call it Crosslines. You don't have to say community outreach every time.
CCO, Crosslines Community Outreach. Everyone's always looking for a short way to say anything. So, right.
Okay.
And we were a Council of Churches of the Ozarks for a large stretch of that.
Okay.
So,
Well, and then you are the director of volunteer engagement.
Correct.
Is that the correct title? Well, you really need, I was just trying to think, if I had time, I would help. So who is the CEO now?
Jamie Tressel.
Jamie Tressel. I would help Jamie come up with a different name for you, but it would be a long title because of all the things that you do, the importance of what you do. So I know for a long time, the food pantry, that was the first thing that you all did. And I think that's extremely important, continues to be more important. It seems like every day, every week, every month, it seems like the need increases. I don't really know if the need will ever decrease. I don't know, you know, what's going on in society. You know, when I was in school, we didn't have free and reduced lunches. Everybody seemed to be able to pay for their lunch. It wasn't very much, but everybody was able to pay a nickel for a carton of milk or the real cold milk out of the machine. And I just don't understand, but we have to help people, right? So then, one of the things that I was telling you before the show started, so we've got a large audience, you know, that is probably people from all 50 states watching this show, and around the country, around the world, we have people watching this show. And what I want to tell the people today, you're going to see and hear some things that is just amazing on how this group helps people, helps families, helps children, helps seniors. There's not one group of people that they can't help and don't help. And so I think that's really important. And as I always tell people, you know, if you think this is important, and it is, then you need to do this in your community. If you don't have something like Crossline's community outreach, then you need to create it. Someone in your community, somewhere in every city and every town in the United States can do that. There is someone that can do that. And find churches, find other civic leaders, business leaders, and people, and you'll find people that will help do that. So you had the food pantry, and then I looked at all the things that you do. It looks like you have about 10 different major categories. Let's just kind of go through them, and then I'm going to kind of talk more about some of your philosophies and some of the things that you do for people. And then we're going to do this too, at least twice. I want to tell people, so let's do it to begin. We'll practice right now. How do people find out more about community outreach? So because they may want to donate some money. You don't have to be in Missouri if you want to donate some money. In Missouri, yes, the volunteers, you're going to have to be probably a volunteer. You're not going to drive from Arkansas or Texas. We understand that, so we're going to forgive you for that. But no, there's things that people need to know. They need to be able to look you up. So websites, different things, and then, so tell us that first.
So the easiest way is to go to our website. It's ccozarks.org. And we are still brand new in the process of our change. So the website still reflects Council of Churches of the Ozarks. We're working through slowly and carefully to just switch over to our new logo and our new name, but it is a reflection of all of the programs that we have, different ways to engage. There's a Donate Now button that is always easy to find.
Okay, very good, very good. Well, and you and I talked on the phone. I mean, unfortunately, you know, we have had a federal deficit of trillions of dollars in this country, and I try not to be so political, although I've had a political life, and I want to blame all parties, the parties that have been in control. So all presidents have contributed, and Congress has contributed to us being in millions and trillions of dollars, well, actually trillions of dollars of debt. We can't continue to do that forever. So somebody's got to be brave enough to try to figure out how to solve that. Unfortunately, some of the cuts that are going on seem to be cuts that are pretty vital to each of the states. And so I don't know how long those will last. I told you I'm a board member of OCAC, and 12 counties around this area OCAC takes care of. And so that's a big area, and they do a lot of great things, just like you all do. But now they're getting notices that they're gonna not have money for Head Start. They're not gonna have money for this and that. And I'm thinking, oh, wow, now what do we do? What do we do? So I'm sure that your board and you guys have been thinking about that too.
The beautiful thing is that we were founded on the compassion and generosity of our community, and that is what sustains us. So having additional federal funding is a blessing, and it gives us more opportunity to expand and give. But if we don't have it, we still have the support and the generosity and the compassion of our community. And so what we have, we will give, and we will serve as much as we are able to serve.
Well, that's a great thing. So state funding, or do you have some state funding too?
There's some legislature that hopefully will help with our math and reading buddy program,
Okay.
especially. We'll know more at the end of the week.
Okay, all right. Well, yeah, we always keep our fingers crossed right now. I keep our fingers crossed for good bills, not bills that mandate things that cost our county money and it would be negative to us, but you never know what happens the last week or two. But I hope that you guys get some things that helps you all. And then federal funding is more than state funding, right? As far as,
Different programs have
Different program.
different, we have the Ombudsman program is a federal program that
okay,
provides volunteers to residents in long-term care facilities. And so far, we know, there's been no indication that that's going to be cut.
okay.
And so-
Well, that's good. Well, and the fact that you guys have built your whole organization around volunteers, you being in charge of volunteers, I noticed that what is it, 32,000? Am I right, 32,000
For the hours?
hours?
I think so. I am,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it saves us over $1 million
Yeah.
in salary
So
alone.
if you had to pay for those 32,000 plus hours of volunteer hours, it would cost $1 million in payroll. Well, then you would have $1 million less to spend
On
on
food and
food and
diapers and
everything,
tutoring,
diapers
exactly.
and everything else, then, right? So thank goodness for all the generous people out there, and it doesn't really matter whether they give $5 or
Right.
$500 or $5,000. There's people out there, right now, you all are watching, and you have friends and neighbors and family members and business associates, and this is a great cause. This is a great organization that's got long history. You talk about somebody that's just started, well, you wonder whether they're gonna make it and do the right thing and spend the money in the right way. Well, this group has proved themselves since 1969. That's a long time. But I think about my company, 1977, I was in business over 43 years when I sold all my stores. 43 years is a long time too. You've kind of proved yourself by that time. And you guys certainly have done that. So we're wanting you to go online, and that's ccozark.org.
.org, yes.
Yeah, and do that, and we'll probably say that again once or more times, because I just want you to know how important it is. You go online and find out some information about this great group and stuff like that. So how do you get the word out about volunteers?
We actually, our greatest recruiting tool are our volunteers.
Okay.
Because it is so life-giving what they're able to do, that they ask all of their friends to come and help. So our biggest recruitment tool are the volunteers that we currently have. And
Well, that's great, because they want to have somebody next to them that's working that they know and like and enjoy, and that's a benefit then, isn't it?
it is.
Yeah.
And it is a blessing to be able to, we work really hard to create a culture of hope and purpose and belonging. And so our volunteers that come in, they are as blessed as the people that they are blessing,
Yeah, actually, sometimes they're blessed more.
sometimes.
Yeah, and so, how many volunteers do you guys normally have in a year's time?
In a year's time, we have about 7,000 individual volunteers.
Wow.
We have on a regular crew of 300 that come pretty consistently, 700 that come several times a year.
Wow, okay, and are most of those volunteers seniors?
Most of them are because they have time to
Time.
give.
They're not working, they have no commitment or less commitments, and so they're, and you find them at various church groups, different churches, all kinds of churches?
We
and
do.
things like that?
We're very proud of the fact that we are ecumenical. We we believe that as long as you have a heart to help your neighbor, then we are the place that you can connect and help your neighbor.
Yeah.
And so our food pantry was originally set up with sponsor churches. So each day of the month, there's a church that comes in and sponsors that day by providing the volunteers.
Yeah.
And so I think there are about 40 different churches that come consistently once a month to serve with us.
Well, that sounds great. I noticed that one of the things I was reading when I was kind of researching your organization is the fact that I think it was Dorsey that said that, Dr. Dorsey Level, he said that he wanted churches to work together because they could do more for people if they work together than just one church individually. So I'm looking at 2025. So I'm looking at 2025 now. And I'm thinking, well, and that's still true. I still believe that's true. But right now, I think we have a lot of churches that's still helping you all, thank goodness, and all working together. But we have a lot of churches that have their own food pantry. Maybe that's good. Maybe, I don't know if it would be better if everybody would just, but you'd have to have great big buildings and you'd have to have alternate buildings. You couldn't put it all in one place, could
Right.
you?
I
So
think
maybe
that-
it's okay the way we do it today.
I think so. There's no lack of need, and
Yeah.
so anyone who's doing anything to help is a part of the solution.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter where that help comes from as long as somebody gets the help.
Exactly.
Yeah, so, and you guys, we talked, there was a number in there about how many meals, over 1 million meals, okay? And 1.3 something.
1.6.
1.6 million, okay, well, I knew you'd know those numbers, and 1.6 million meals a year last year. And are those complete meals, or do they just get they get different types of foods that they can make their own meals?
We have our
A little bit of
pantries.
both?
It's set up to look like a little grocery store.
Okay,
One of the things that's very important to us is a sense of dignity and normalcy. When someone finds himself in crisis, it's disruptive. So they come in the door and there are volunteers that are happy to see them, and they walk through this little grocery store and they get to select the food that they are going
cool.
to feed their family with.
Yeah.
And then we also have the TFAP, the USDA food that we're able to provide to our families. That one, there isn't a choice. It's whatever we get is what we give. But in our pantry, the families are able to pick out the food that they want to prepare for their family.
well, that sounds good. And so now what about the people that are shut in? Can they just order their
We-
food? Because there's people that can't drive and,
We have the homebound shopping program where we
Okay.
connect volunteers with the seniors in their home and they grocery shop for them, which Walmart delivery would do that. But our volunteers go into the home and put puzzles together and talk to them and share their life. And then we also have our senior food box delivery program that delivers food to the seniors in need.
yeah. Well, that's, your delivery drivers, your volunteers are kind of like my delivery drivers when I had my pharmacies, because my guys would go, and it was almost all guys that would make deliveries. A lot of those are retired gentlemen, worked for MoDOT or different places, and they were really good people, but they were people, and they would change light bulbs. They would bring the trash back in. If they saw it out by the road, they'd bring it back to the house. They would ask before they left. Now, they couldn't spend 30 minutes there. They had to make deliveries. But they would ask, is there something else I could help you with before they left? We got so many compliments. And I think that's why my stores are so busy. We just didn't fill your prescription, take your money,
Right.
and not help you. And so that's what you guys are doing, that extra service. And that's what these volunteers are so good at, is being able to do the extra things. And, just spending 5 or 10 minutes with those people. Some people don't have anybody.
There are more people than we would think that have no family or friends or connections, and they're alone other than maybe going to a doctor's appointment. They don't have anyone checking in on them or talking to them or just having a safe, friendly touch. And it's a part of how we were created. We need connection, and that I don't know, it's an amazing, beautiful, powerful program to be able to, it also allows the seniors to stay in their home longer than they would otherwise. And that is a huge blessing as well.
Well, I tell you what, so I'm gonna kind of make another statement right now, what Diane is talking about. You know, everybody, whatever street you live on, in whatever town in this country that you live in, there is widows on that street, there are single people on this street, there are seniors on this street, there's all kinds of people. And I would make a point, to check on them when there's bad weather. Just check and see. You're going to the grocery store every week, see if there's something you could do for them, as take an errand or something, and maybe help them. Maybe they need something at Dollar General that they used to go to Dollar General, we'll say, and ask them, what can I do to help you? And I know that, because I've done it myself, I know that sometimes they need their yard mowed, or they need something, a tree limb cut down that fell down and they need to get rid of it. There's all kinds of things that you can do to help them. And this organization does that on a regular basis, but individuals can also do that on an individual basis. And you'll feel so much better. I guarantee you'll feel better. So let's talk. Anything else that we want to talk about the food pantry?
I think, so one of the things I would say is the food pantry is one of the emergency response services that we have, right? There are people in need right then, they need food and they come through our door. And seeing the need that poverty brings is a really great motivator for some of our other programs, like the case management, where we can move people from scarcity to security, or our math and reading buddy program, where our tutoring intervention can prevent poverty. And so we started out as the food pantry, and what Dorsey Level saw and what we have carried on is the sense that we don't want to just stop there. We really do want to intercede and change people's lives.
Well, so let's stop and talk about the case management and education. So I noticed, so I want to brag about Diana. So she's got a degree in mathematics. Wish I'd have known you back then. The only thing I had trouble when I was going to pharmacy school was trig, calculus and all, and algebra and all that stuff. That's simple. I made A's in those. Trig, I think I made a C in it. I couldn't figure out
The angles.
the angles. I don't know. So that one I wasn't very good in, but because I didn't think a C was very good. But then in chemistry, in pharmacy school, we had to take about 12 different types of chemistry courses. I made A's in everything except organic chemistry. Had to take 10 hours of organic chemistry. And again, I made a C in organic chemistry. I just couldn't, I just never made a good grade in it. I just got by. I don't know. I wasn't very good at that. But then, so you got that mathematics degree. Now you also have an English degree. So that's amazing. And then you also have a education degree. So you just couldn't decide what you wanted to do?
That is exactly true. I couldn't decide what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to teach. I liked math. I liked English. And I thought, well, I might as well just do all of them. And it has served me well.
Right. Well, those are all good. Those are all good things to be good in and excel in. And so, did you teach high school?
I did.
Did high school? And where did you teach?
Sacramento, California, most of my career.
Okay. Well, you know, I tell you what, teachers are my heroes too.
It's an important job.
Yeah.
Tina Miller is the director of the Math and Reading Buddy program. She also taught secondary math.
Okay.
And that is, we were talking about the fact that our high school students who struggled the most were struggling because of what they missed in first and second grade.
Okay.
And so that was the passion that drove her to create the Math Buddy program, to be able to fill in those foundational gaps, to teach the younger students that sense of numeracy, so that by the time they got to algebra, which you need to graduate, they had the knowledge of numbers to be able to do well.
Well, I tell you what, so, you know, I was talking before the show started, telling you that you're a difference maker. And this is extremely important because the people who have been watching this show, we have new people watching every week, so they don't know what our show's about. We're about social issues, social causes, and positive solutions. But here's the thing. I always talk about difference makers. We've never had a person on our show that's not a difference maker. I guess that's a requirement that we just kind of make because that's a very, very important person. And I decided after studying you and what you do that you are a super difference maker. And I've never had a cause to come up with a title, because difference maker is excellent. It's awesome. But a super difference maker is even better. So that's what you are.
Well, thank
And
you.
I want to thank you for what you do. But I also want to tell the viewers out there that teachers, she was a teacher, and my teachers, the reason why I am what I was today and became today is because of my elementary teachers, my first grade teacher, Miss Stone, second grade teacher, Matthews, third grade teacher, Miss Keller. I know all my teachers. I even know my geometry teacher, and that was Miss Stevens. Mr. Thomas was my science teacher. I know teachers. And the reason why I know teachers is because they helped me decide to be a pharmacist when I was in school at a young age. I never changed my mind. People tried to get me to be a doctor, to be a lawyer, to be this, to be that. And I knew I wanted to be a pharmacist and own my own stores. God gave me that through teachers. He did. And so teachers are so important. There's a lot of teachers out there probably watching today. And teachers are so important, and they don't get the credit, and they certainly don't get the money they deserve. And someday, hopefully, that will change too. But teachers are very important. Okay, so let's kind of go down this list. Your group is Ambassador for Children and Foster Support. So tell us a little bit about that.
So the Ambassadors for Children program, there is this beautiful little boutique that is at the Crosslines Community Outreach. It looks like a high-end store. All of the clothing is brand new. The tag is still on it. For our little babies that come into care, they don't care so much. But for our preteens and our teens, no one ends up in foster care unless there has been tragedy. And there's no sense of control, no choice that you get. So when a child comes into care, the families are able to come to the boutique and the child chooses off of the rack what they want to wear. And for the first time in maybe quite some time, it's a choice they get to make. And so what seems like something we just take for granted, shopping, people shop all the time. But for these children, it means so much more than just the clothing. And then there is the hidden part of the Ambassadors for Children. One of the things we know is that families that provide the care often have a giant heart and a tiny budget. So they're able to say yes to bring children into their home, but they can't afford track shoes or trumpet lessons or specialized horse therapy. And so we have donors that are available to help fill in those gaps. Coming up in June is the Devon's Track Meet, which is it's a fundraising event for providing the sports equipment in honor of a young man, Devon, who was killed in a car accident. His mom has taken that tragedy and is using his legacy to provide help to kids that need it. And so that is the Ambassadors for Children space.
Well, that's awesome. And where is your location?
3055 East Division. And it's-
3655.
Yep, the old SRC building over there by
okay.
65 and Division.
Okay.
And so twice a year, the children are able to come and shop for the brand new clothing, and then anytime a child comes into care. And then tucked into the boutique is the prom closet, which is actually available to any teen in the area, but it's just a cute little spot with all the taffeta and the suits and the jewelry and the shoes,
Well, that's
anything for the
amazing. So,
dance.
because prom dresses are expensive. I had 2 daughters and I've had 5 granddaughters and it just seems like those new dresses are expensive.
And in the
and
prom
so-
closet, we do accept gently used. That's the one spot where it doesn't have to be brand new.
Yeah, because a lot of times, a lot of those girls just wear it one
Once.
time, and then you get it cleaned, and it'd be just like new.
Exactly.
And so, because we do our country wastes a lot of. So let's go back to food just a second. So I got to thinking about this, restaurants. And I think the government needs to do better on trying to figure out how to keep us from wasting so much food. Every day at every one of the restaurants that we have in every town, they have stuff left at the end of the day. And I know grocery stores also donate money to you guys, and do they kind of watch the perishables and things like that, so before they become a certain, where they have to throw them out, you can
Yes.
have them? Because,
And Gordon is our procurement specialist. He's actually semi-retired, and he just, from his experience, he has connections with different grocery stores and food suppliers, so he's always on the lookout for those, the close to expiration date, where we're able to buy things for pennies on the dollar. And Vital Farms donates eggs to us that are too close to expiration. They're still good,
Yeah,
but they can't sit
yeah.
in the grocery store, and
Yeah.
so those we're able to pass along.
yeah, so think about that, because if we didn't do that, think about all that waste. I think about, just when I go to restaurants and I see young families like my wife and I had at one time, and I see the kids not hardly eating anything on their plate, and that all that food is just being thrown away and stuff like that. Boy, it's expensive. So you guys just take care of Greene County?
For the
Or-
food pantry, because we're USDA commodities, it's Greene County.
County.
But for our foster support, I believe it's 4 different counties, and then our diaper bank covers 52 counties.
Wow.
And so depending on the program, we have different counties that we are able to
So
engage with.
diapers are expensive too.
They are.
And do you get diapers donated to you? or
Sometimes we're
sometimes you do?
affiliated with the National Diaper Bank, and there are different organizations that will do diaper drives, people who will donate diapers. And so but we go through 1.5 million a
Wow.
year, and so it's a lot.
That is a lot. Well, I think, I remember a lot of people washing diapers and, and not having disposable diapers.
And a lot
and
of
that-
people.
Do people still do
we-
that some?
They do. One of the challenges with cloth diapers is that is great if you have a washer and dryer.
Yeah.
Most laundry services, they're either expensive to get them laundered, and the public laundromats they don't let you wash the diapers there.
Yeah.
And if you're taking your child to daycare, you have to have disposable diapers.
Yeah.
And so we do have cloth diapers, and we're able to help people with that startup cost, and it is a part of the solution. But disposable diapers are something that you need that if you're going to be a working family especially.
Wow. Okay, very good. Well, we still got a lot more to go, but
We do.
but I tell you what, we're going to take a short break, so don't go anywhere. I want to talk about our 2 sponsors that make this show possible. The first one is Brad Pistow. He's a certified fiduciary financial planner located in Ozark, Missouri, and he's actually the financial planner retirement specialist that I use, and it's just amazing man. He's licensed in many states. I know we have 50 states, but he has associates, friends that he knows in all 50 states. So he can plug you in and help you. And the interesting thing is he's written a couple books, both best-selling books on retirement planning from Amazon. You can buy them on Amazon. And one is called Safe Money Matters. And also the other one is Bulletproof. I've got both of those. He will send you, if you'll call 417-582-9222. So 582-9222, 417, you will get a free book. He'll send you a free book. He'll send you information. It doesn't cost you anything to talk to him. And he will set you up with retirement plans that you'll never run out of money before you run out of your life. And that's just pretty important, because a lot of us worry about, well, are we going to have enough money to retire on before we die? Are we going to run out and then not have any money? And so you don't want that to happen. So he's very, very good. And I highly recommend him. A lot of my friends, family members use him, and he would not let you down. He's a strong Christian person, and I highly recommend him. The other sponsor that we have is Springfield Nissan, Springfield Kia. It used to be Youngblood Motor Group. I bought my last 2 Grand Cherokee Jeeps from those guys. And John Whittaker is the owner. And so honestly, I still going to be buying my next car from him, and probably this year. I'm thinking about taking my 2020 Grand Cherokee. There's nothing wrong with it, but I'm just thinking about buying another car. So, but I don't buy brand new cars. I buy used cars with 4 to 10,000 miles on them. They find me great cars with low mileage, and they also specialize in cars that have been inspected with 110 points, and they are certified cars. So, you know, if you've got lots of money and you want to buy a new car, they've got a lot of new cars that they can sell you. But if you want to buy a used car and save a little bit of money, a certified car is the best way to do it, because they will go a lot further without mechanical problems, because they have really thoroughly checked them. But I highly recommend those guys. They've been in business for over 50 years. I think they're the oldest family-owned car dealership in the Springfield area. And they sell cars from other states. People come in and buy their cars. So I highly recommend those 2 sponsors. And they're very generous in trying to help. I know you've seen John Whittaker on TV a lot. Helps a lot of different nonprofits and schools and stuff like that. And so does Brad. Anytime I ever ask Brad something to do, I find a group that needs help. Those guys are always helping us. So they're really good. Okay, well, what's the next one that we want to talk about on different programs that you've got?
So how about centralized case management?
Okay.
That is it's one of our newer programs where we have case managers and resource referral specialists who are able to come alongside families and move them from scarcity to security.
Okay.
This actually, it was an idea that was born out of the Safe to Sleep Women's Shelter. We have a low barrier safe to sleep women's shelter here that I believe it's 14 years now. Every single night it's open. And they found that providing a safe place for women to sleep is a very important thing to do. But beyond that, to get them in a house, in a home, that's when we've really won. And 20 to 30 women on any given year we're able to house. I think last year it was, 30 women last year. So far we're up to 20. And so they found that you need help when you're in a crisis. If you don't have your driver's license, your social security card, or your birth certificate because you fled a domestic abuse situation, good luck getting any one of those 3.
Right.
If you don't have a car to get to the office to get any of those 3, then you're not able to, it becomes this poverty trap. And so in the Safe to Sleep space, we had case managers able to help those women get the documentation that they needed, get on the waiting list for affordable housing, get into Eden Village, whatever the next step for security was. Because it was so successful, we brought that to the food pantry as well. So families that are coming in now have access to a case manager who can help them with budgeting, or they can help them with just better education to get a better paying job, connect them to other services in the community. No one nonprofit can do all of the things. We need each other. We need to be able to refer back and forth. And so that's something that we specialize in. If we don't do it, we know who does. And we're able to connect people to that.
That's an awesome program too. So I wondered, so we got Safe to Sleep, you got your, what do you call it?
The case management.
Case management. And let's talk real quick about senior services and ombudsman programs. So I understand ombudsman because I served over 100 nursing homes when I had the largest nursing home healthcare practice in Southwest Missouri. And so we went to a lot of nursing homes. And those people are very important people. They're kind of like the middleman between the patient and being the advocate for that patient to the facility. And they do an important job, and they volunteer, right?
They do volunteer.
Yeah.
And it is important because for ombudsman means advocate. And especially our seniors who don't have family that are in long-term care, they might not even know what their rights are. They might be afraid to speak up because of just those fearful spaces. And so our volunteers are able to go into the homes and make sure that things are the way they should be and be a voice for the residents.
Well, that's cool. And then senior services, what kind of services?
That's our homebound shopping and our senior box delivery.
Homebound shopping and home delivery. Okay. And does that seem to grow? Does that seem pretty constant?
We have, actually, it has grown because we're so good at making sure that the senior boxes get delivered. We're able to increase the number of boxes that we receive. And so that has been, it is a program that grows. There's a waiting list for it, and we're always just trying to get food out to as many seniors as we can.
Oh, that's very good. Did we miss any of your programs? I was looking to see if
We've got the Wish I May birthday
Oh, yeah, the birthday
program.
Tell me about the birthday party.
This one is, this is actually close to my mom's heart. We grew up in poverty, and she said it was always hard on her around birthdays to not be able to throw a party like all of our classmates had. And so this one, she said, it is not superfluous. This is not just a feel-good program. This really does matter to our families. We give them the whole party in a bag. It's toys and books and cake mix and icing and candles and party plates and wrapping paper so that the parent can throw a party for their little ones, and then they can go to school the next day and talk about their birthday party or what they got for their birthday.
Well, that's awesome. So how do people find out about that?
It's online.
It's online.
And they can call or they can stop by and sign up.
Wow. And so how many kids a year approximately do you serve on that program?
Last year it was 886.
Oh, my.
And each month it's
Okay.
more and more.
Well, your birthday, I was thinking, because I've got a great-grandchild now. He just turned 1. We had a birthday party 2 weeks ago on a weekend, and it's pretty awesome seeing him eat his birthday chocolate cake, his birthday cake, and eating it with his fingers, and he had it all over his mouth and head. But then the funny thing was they stripped him down. He just had his diaper on, and his name is Stetson. And I wondered, why did they take his shirt and pants off? The reason why is because in 20 minutes, not only did he eat a lot of it and have it all over his face, he had it on his stomach and on his legs. I'm thinking, well, I never saw him rubbing his legs or stomach, but somehow this cake went from here in his mouth and everywhere, and it would have probably ruined his clothes.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, that's a pretty smart thing by my granddaughter. But anyway, I think we're about to run out of time. How much time do we have left?
You got about 3 minutes.
Okay.
3 minutes. Well, hey, I want to say again, ccozark.org. That's how people need to get a hold of you. And I'll let you have final word. What do we need to tell people? Anything else that we need to tell people about your organization?
You gave me the amazing compliment of being what did you call me? A
Super difference maker.
Difference maker. The reason that I get to function in that role is because every single person can make a difference. My job is to find volunteers or donors or people who see the problem and are not content to just feel bad about it, because our feelings don't do anything for anyone, but to actually be motivated to action, to do one small thing, to be a reading buddy for 30 minutes once a week, that can change the direction of a child's life. And so I get to encourage other people to make a difference. And if every single person made a small difference, things would be different.
Oh, yeah.
And they are different because of what our volunteers are doing.
Yeah. Well, Diana, I tell you, I just can tell you, I knew over the phone, we've had some phone conversations, and I judged your personality over the phone. And look at this nice smile. She's got a nice smile. I just knew she was full of energy. I knew that she was smart. I kind of started to picture her of who she was and what she does. And people like you that are high energy, that's bubbling and wanting to help other people, that's easier. It's going to be easier for you to find somebody, because a lot of people will volunteer or help, but they don't know where to start, and they don't know who to ask. And so you have to ask them. I found that out with campaigning. You know, I've campaigned 16 times. I won 15 races. And I found that a lot of people will help you, but they're not going to just come out and help you.
Right.
You have to ask them for help. And then once you do, a lot of people won't turn you down. And as bubbly as you are and vivacious as you are, you're gonna get people that says, yes, tell me where I need to go. I'll help.
It makes it easy for me to ask because I see the blessing that comes from giving. I'm not asking anyone to do something that's even hard. And I know that it will bless them. To be engaged in the solution that's where our sense of purpose and power and meaning comes from. And so it's an easy thing for me to ask people for help because I know that it will bless them.
Well, one of the things you said, Diane, and then we're gonna have to leave, but one of the things that you said was a lot of your volunteers, they find other volunteers because they like to work with people they already know and like to work with and be with. And the same way when I had my 330 employees, I always was asking my employees, my HR directors were always talking to the employees saying, we want to find somebody just like you. Who do you know that's just like you? Because you've been here 6 months now and you're really doing a great job. So who else can you bring in and work side by side? Because the benefit of working for Family Pharmacy was that's the same way with volunteers. The volunteers working with other volunteers side by side, helping someone makes a big difference. Well, hey, appreciate you being here today. Super
you.
difference maker. And this is Crosslines, and they are a great organization. I hope you actually go to ccozark.org and find out more about them. I hope you do donate some money. If you live in Springfield area, volunteer. And if you live anywhere else in this country, volunteer and help neighbor. Okay? Hey, we'll be back next week.